I'm so freaking excited to unbox this Ayaneo Slide. It's a Windows gaming handheld with a physical keyboard. Let's open this box. So this box actually got a lot of love online. I'm definitely not going to throw this out. It looks like a retro gaming design they were going for here because of this physical keyboard and the way that it slides out. So let's cut this boy open. Oh, what an unboxing experience. Damn, that's actually really, really nice. So this is like reminiscent of a VHS tape I'm looking at. Like you can tell from the sides where you usually put the name of the tape and on the back. That's actually a really, really unique design. I like this a lot. Right here on the box it says, "Real gamers, no gamers." That's actually pretty powerful. Let's see this. Ooh. Oh, baby, what a freaking unboxing experience. This is beautiful. Oh my God, this just feels like super, super high quality. This feels really, really good. See the back of it. Nice. Let's just slide this thing open really quick and see what it sounds like. That was really, really satisfying. Let's put it back. Oh my God, I'm not gonna get used to that. That's freaking crazy. Look, it's like spring loaded. So we got a manual. Obviously, step one of the manual is to throw away the manual. So this actually comes with 65-watt fast charging, which is extremely quick. Am I looking at is this a fingerprint reader? This comes built in with a fingerprint reader. I got the white color. White is just so clean. And they even sent me the 32 gigabyte, 2 terabyte version. This version cost, I think, close to $1,000 for their early bird pricing and over $1,000 for their actual pricing. So I'm realizing now this thing has 2 USB ports, and that'd be actually really nice if you want to have one external GPU and then one external monitor on the same device plugged in, because there's 2 USB ports. That's actually really, really useful. And both of these are actually USB 4.0 USB-C, which is 40 gigabytes of transfer speed per second. And these are not only Hall sensing joysticks, but they're also Hall sensing triggers. So this should last me my whole life. Oh, by the way, the screen can actually kick upwards, like you can bend it, and that does feel pretty solid and pretty sturdy. If I'm playing, I'm for sure going to have it bent face towards me, because if it's flat, you don't want to kind of hold it like awkwardly and hurt your wrist and stuff. You can see from the back of this thing, it looks like it's a little bit clunky. There's the micro SD port. Now, I was considering getting a micro SD card for this and just preloading all my games, but then I realized 2 terabytes is a lot of storage just for gaming, so this should hold up more than enough. So this is a 46.2 watt-hour battery, and it should last you quite a long time. It looks like it's a little bit chubby, but honestly, in the hand, it feels really compact and small and nice and neat. It doesn't feel as big as it looks, to be honest. The cooling design, they boast about a lot. I'll put that to the test myself and see if it's really going to be that good. And these little like metal wires right here are what slides it back into place, if I'm not mistaken. I'm barely putting any pressure and it just like flicking right up. Like it's made to do this. Okay, it's just a basic Windows setup, I guess. Finally, it's set up. Let's look at this Ayaneo. So this has its own operating system built on top of Windows 11. It's called iSpace 2.0. I have a full-on Windows computer right in my hands right now. This is a 6-inch screen, not the biggest, but I think this could get the job done, especially if you're out on, on the go, traveling, airplane. Okay, this is cool. You can choose between AAA game, normal game, retro game, and PC Office. All of them change the TDP limits, so that would make a huge difference as far as performance goes and battery life as well. So going through these settings is actually pretty useful. I think the main purpose of this is so that you don't ever have to go to your BIOS, probably like ever on this device. You have everything that you can possibly need, like network, monitor, motion, performance, TDP, overclock, underclock, all of the stuff you could need a BIOS for, you usually have this for. You even set joystick dead zones. You can customize buttons. While this would take me literally like probably an hour to go through all these settings with you, so I will not do that, but just know you probably have the ability to do almost everything that you could want. Let's turn on the lighting right here. There we go. Now that is way better. This light would probably take up some more battery, but probably super minimal. I like this a lot. Actually, that white is kind of clean. Let's see what else we got. That's yellow. This is purple. Now we got keyboard RGB. Let's pop this boy open. And so the RGB on the keyboard's pretty low, but it's definitely would help you at nighttime. Let's see. We got already an orange color going on here. Let's try. Okay, this is green. So one thing I don't want to forget about this is that it does come with LPDDR5 RAM that could go up to 7500 megahertz, but it can only get there once they release a software update in the future when they fix some compatibility issues, if they even fix it. So just so you know, it's not going to be at the full 7500 right out of the box. And this is the side menu right here. And I like this one a lot. If you're playing a video game, you want to quickly change maybe the TDP, change the performance of this. You can turn the fan probably much faster. There's a bunch of fan modes right here. You have a lot of good options that you could use just from pressing this button quickly one time. If you want to pull up the full IS space with everything about it and all of these settings in depth, you could do that, but I guess like mid gaming, this is a really good option. Let's go through and see. Like, wow, I find it so weird that I'm using this. By the way, the colors are really good. The colors look really punchy and vibrant. I will have to say that myself. Let's see if this can fit in my pocket. It absolutely can. This can literally fit in my pocket, no problem. If I'm traveling, going on a road trip, anywhere that I go, I can easily just slide this in and out and have a full Windows gaming PC in the side of my pocket. That's crazy to me. Now, since this thing has a keyboard, I realized, why don't I try my childhood favorite, Wizard 101? Lucas Breeze, bro. This virgin used to pull the baddest wizards. Look at this guy. You're telling me right now, you don't want to smash? I've spent so many hours and dollars on this game, so I logged back into my account and it works flawlessly with the Ayaneo Slide. Now, normally, if you want to get your controller to work on this game, you have to download like third-party programs and convert your controller into a keyboard and all this other weird stuff. When in reality, this has a keyboard built in. You just put your left thumb on the W key and your right thumb on the left and right, and you get the full gaming experience as if you're still on a computer. Nothing else changed. When it comes to Call of Duty, I will have to admit, this thing packed a punch. I was getting a consistent 90 to 100 FPS, although I did have it locked at 60 because there's no point in going above your screen's refresh rate. It definitely could. If it had the screen power, it could have gotten there, although the joysticks are just way too tiny to actually use. Fortnite was a similar situation where the game looked absolutely beautiful. I mean, if you look on screen, you see how smooth the game is playing, but in reality, those joysticks destroy the whole gaming experience. They're just way too narrow and tight, and you really can't get any first-person shooter down on this console, like whatsoever. Sonic Frontiers was working really great. I assume this is 60 FPS because the FPS counter for some reason is not working on this game, but it was doing really well. The game did not bother me at all as far as having the joysticks being tight. It looked really nice. This is a game for sure I'm gonna save and play on my Ayaneo Slide without a doubt. Lost Ark works amazing. Without a doubt, you get full functionality. The controller support is great as long as you can memorize all the keybinds, and I feel like this game was like made for the slide. Although it is kind of small because of the view, it's still very doable when you're looking at it not from a camera's point of view. This thing is also a portable emulation beast. You can get all your consoles on there, all your games, and it can handle the vast majority of them. I've thrown GameCube at this, Sega Genesis, and it didn't even leave the 60 FPS mark for 1 single second. It absolutely crushed GameCube emulation. And just the aesthetic of this entire unboxing experience, coming at a VHS tape and also it having a slide out screen and a full-on keyboard, looking like it was a Sidekick phone made in 2007. I think this works perfect for the idea of having it be your little portable handheld emulation station, and that's exactly what I've turned mine into here. I have a lot more titles that I have to get and try out, but so far it was crushing everything that I've thrown at it, so I think this is solid enough. The last footage that you just finished watching was recorded over 1 month ago, and the reason for that was because my Ayaneo Slide broke. The screen just turned black, and it was because of a defect in the review unit for mine and also Linus Tech Tips as well.
Hello, buddy, can you... Oh, I guess this is the thing, right? During testing, we encountered a couple of instances where the screen just powered off.
Our screens just stopped working permanently and we had to send it back to get it fixed. So after 1 week of use, what are some of the best and worst things that this has to offer? We'll start with the bad, and the number one most notable bad thing that I can say about this device right here is the joystick. It feels just like a Nintendo Switch. That's it. It doesn't feel like an Xbox controller. The way that I can explain this is that the range of motion on the joystick is really limited. It's like you can only go from here to here. But on an Xbox controller, you can go all the way and you get that full range of motion, which helps you in games like Fortnite or Call of Duty. Any first-person shooter really needs that kind of range of motion. This just does not bring that to you. Even though it is a Hall effect joystick, it doesn't have the real full length as a regular joystick would. Like, let me try to get this close up for you. Look how limited my range is here. That's all I can move. And compared to an Xbox controller, it's a huge difference. So this is actually really similar to a Nintendo Switch joystick. You see how like limited that range is? You literally can't play Call of Duty on this. You can't play any competitive first-person shooter on this. You get that full range of motion regardless. You see how wide this thing can reach? Like, you have so much more range of motion, so much more accuracy. This just doesn't come with it built in, and that's a huge bummer for me. The next issue here is the location of the power button. It's so close to this volume rocker. I find myself turning this thing off more than I'd like to to admit. So the easy fix for that was to go to the Windows settings over here, and we basically make this power button do nothing. Breaking the button solved the issue. Okay, now this next issue requires me to blast the volume all the way to 100, even though it's still gonna sound really low. Just try to hear it before I can even explain what's wrong with the situation. We're at 4K, everything looks good, let's press play. A study shows that children between ages 0 to 3 who have more than 4 hours of screen time every day. The down-firing speakers are just really strange to me. The audio sounds like really warped and like I'm listening through a Pringles can, if that's how I can explain the best. Another thing is that this only goes to 60 hertz. While a lot of you are now used to gaming at 120, 144, even myself, 240 hertz when I game, 60 hertz, it feels like last gen. I'll be totally honest. If you're not playing any really competitive, fast-paced games, it's no biggie. But if you are, that's gonna be somewhat of an issue. I'll be honest, with low settings, this thing is crushing 100 FPS on HD, which is really good. Only if we can just take advantage of that and not have these extra frames for no reason. And the last thing that I will complain about is the placement of the right joystick. Look, I used to play Xbox. I love the shape of the controller and the lower joystick, but they shouldn't have done that on this type of device because it is more of like a heavier, chunkier, beefy device. And to get a good grip on something of this size, you do have to have both of your hands placed perfectly side by side. And that means that both of your thumbs are going to be placed up here. So the fact that this one is lower, it really puts you in an awkward position. Like I have to get a good grip, I have to do something like this, right? And like you see how weird that looks with my hand. It doesn't really feel that good either. It's doable. Like it's not the worst thing, but it would have been a lot more ergonomic if they just placed this joystick right on top. If you've paid close enough attention, this thing is making virtually no noise whatsoever. I doubt my microphone's actually picking up any sound that this is making. Try to listen to this. No, there's actually zero noise at all. Matter of fact, my lights behind me and in front of me are making way more noise than this thing ever is. It has a adjustable TDP where you can choose PC Office, you can choose retro game, normal game, and AAA game. If I put it to AAA, it's gonna bump up that TDP some more. The fan curves will actually change, and then now you can finally hear the fan speed. If you see what I'm saying, it sounds like. But even then, to have maximum fan speed, this is not bad at all. Like it still sounds really nice. The cooling on this thing is just a freaking monster. Then you change back to the PC Office mode and the fans like almost turn off. It's still fully usable. You can do all the stuff you would normally do, like browsing files or using Google Docs, basic stuff like that. And this thing will make almost no noise. Like look how close I want to get to the microphone. Can you even hear that? These Hall effect triggers, I feel like they're going to last me my entire life. I can pass it down to my grandkids. These are not going to wear out. There's no physical contact happening here. They feel so smooth and nice, bro. Now the main feature of this is the slide, but the one that goes under the bus is the fact that this thing can tilt forward by about 30 degrees, give or take. And that changes the game, and I'll tell you exactly why. The fact that this does the tilting means that my wrists don't have to do this anymore. If you're using a ROG Ally, Legion Go, any of these other devices, or even a Steam Deck, you're going to have an uncomfortable wrist pain-like experience because you're going to have to move this up. Like imagine I was playing like this. It's just not going to be a good feeling, and the fact that this does it for you makes it so freaking convenient, and I love the fact that this not only slides, but it tilts. And the keyboard itself, look, I'll be honest, don't expect to go type out like a full Word document on this thing. This is not made to replace a laptop style keyboard in the slightest, but the fact that you do have this option makes it really good for, you know, traveling and going somewhere. This is the only device that you really need unless you're like some sort of author or something. But I feel like this is actually made for when you're logging into Windows, logging into Steam, Epic Games, all of these other platforms that you have to put a user and password for. This gets the job done exactly for that, just not for actually writing a full thesis for your college application. Not having to punch in a code every single time you start up your gaming handheld is necessary because we all have phones nowadays with Face ID or even using your fingerprint. No one wants to go punch in a phone's passcode. Same kind of vibe with this device because it's so portable and always in your hands. The battery life I've had absolutely no issue with. I think it's really good, matter of fact, and especially if you know how to control the TDP, you can make sure that if you're playing a retro video game, you just set it to retro mode and it will consume actually less power and lower the fan noise, giving you a lot longer battery life. So this does have a gyroscope built in. I don't know any other gaming devices that do, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Nintendo Switch does, but I don't know about these Windows handhelds. It's pretty cool. You have to download, although, 2 separate third-party applications, and then once you do that, you're able to, you know, move your whole console around and you could aim or play video games just by moving the device. If you look closely, you'll see 2 remappable white shoulder buttons right here, and these actually come in handy because it's a Windows device. For an example, just tapping this button one time gives you the on-screen keyboard. Pressing this gives you the escape button. Holding it will actually give you the task manager, which which is super, super useful. And you can change these buttons to be practically whatever you want. And not to mention the USB-C 4.0 up here and the second USB 4.0 down here as well. Like, you have both options. If you're laying down, traveling, whatever, you can plug it in and have it charge as you're playing without having much discomfort at all. So I'll be honest, Ayaneo did send me this device for a total of $0. Now, that doesn't mean that I have to go and kiss up to them and say, oh my God, love you guys, 10 out of 10, amazing device. No. That's not how it works over here at Lucid Review, my boy. I'm gonna be totally unbiased. I don't care how much money you give me. I don't care how much your device cost. I will be unchanged in my honesty and genuine, authentic reviews. Okay, cool. Can we agree to that? If that sounds good, please subscribe down below. My honest opinion on this device, if it wasn't for the 3 issues that I mentioned earlier in this video, it would be 9.8 out of 10. It would have been nearly flawless. It's more of like, on the Lucid Review scale, I'd say this is a 7.5 out of 10. -1 for the joystick size, -1 for the 60 hertz, and -0.5 for the thumb placement. Besides that, 7.5 out of 10 is really, really good. I'd still recommend this to a large portion of viewers that are watching this video, but not to all of you. You have to be really pulled in by the fact that it has a sliding screen, by the fact that it has a full-size keyboard. These things have to make you really, really want the device, or even the 2 USBs and the fingerprint reader. It has a lot of cool features, but that has to make you buy it, not the other problems that I've mentioned, like the joystick, for an example. If you're not going to be playing any FPS games like Fortnite or even Call of Duty, this would not be an issue to you, honestly. So that's my honest review of this Ayaneo Slide. Thank you, Ayaneo. You guys are the first company to send me a device at all on this channel, so I really, really respect it. You guys have my heart always. This is like the first device I was given for free, bro. That's freaking amazing. So God willing, so many more to come, so many more videos to come. If you want to continue to see unbiased review videos like this, where I give my honest, genuine take on these devices, please stay subscribed and I will provide more of this quality content. Thank you all for being here and watching one of the first videos on Lucid Review. I love you so freaking much. Please subscribe down below. We have to build this channel up so we can continue to get more devices like this. Thank you for watching. Stay dreaming, stay lucid. I'm out. Peace. Is Lucid cry?